Let's unbox the Funko Pop vinyl television moment scene of Boba Fett and Fennec on the throne.
Varykino. If it's Star Wars, we collect it.
Hello there, thanks for visiting Varykino. This past weekend we met Boba Fett himself, Temuera Morrison, at our local Armageddon Expo convention, so to celebrate we'll be unboxing Boba Fett collectibles this week. Today I'll be opening up the Funko Pop vinyl deluxe scene of Boba Fett and Fennec on the throne, as we see in that awesome teaser for the Book of Boba Fett. We can see that this is part of the Mandalorian series from Funko because of the colouring. For the Book of Boba Fett it's actually a green colour stripe here, so this is from that iconic teaser where we first saw Fennec and Boba sitting on the throne. I absolutely love that scene, it was such a thrill. I really like these deluxe boxes, but because of the way they clamshell the plastic around, it does kind of hide a lot of the details. So as cool as it does look in the box, I think this one is going to look better out so we can really see all of the detail behind all of this plastic packaging. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Coming up really soon, I'll take a closer look at this deluxe Funko scene out of the packaging and we can check out all of the cool details. But first, let's take one last look at the box. We have a very large box for this deluxe scene because of course we have two Funko Pop vinyl figures in here, Boba on the throne and Fennec kind of sitting on the edge of the chair there. I think this looks fantastic. You can see the orangey brown toned color stripe because this fits in the Mandalorian series of Funko Pop vinyl figures. This one is number 486. We've got the Funko Pop vinyl logo up there, nice big window here in the front, and we can see that this is labeled as television moments. It kind of threw me off there for a minute because I keep forgetting that in the modern era, of course, these are television series. I always think of them as just being Disney Plus live action or streaming series, but of course, television moments is accurate there. We've got a nice big window here, but because of those plastics, you can kind of see the points where the two layers are connected. Kind of throws off the eye a little bit because I just think this is going to look so much better out. Very, very keen. And very nice big window, which of course wraps around to the top, so we do get a lot of light in there. So that's nice if you do like to keep your Funkos sealed. This one isn't great for stacking because that plastic wraps around here. It's going to dent if I put anything on the top of it, unlike standard Funkos that have a bit more cardboard here for a bit more support. But the cardboard, of course, for these deluxe ones is a bit sturdier, so generally speaking I find that they do have good corners if you're looking to keep yours boxed. Got some windows there at the side. You can kind of see the way that the two pieces of plastic are joined to encase all of the details there, and if we look in the back we can see the really bright orange mythosaur symbol there on the back insert cardboard piece. We've got the Funko name here, Boba Fett and Fennec on throne, with the number there of course, and here on the back we can see some of the other Funko Pop vinyl figures that came out around the same time. Lovely nice image here of Boba Fett and Fennec on the throne scene, and we can see some of the other ones here. We've got the Mandalorian with Grogu, a single Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Fennec, Cobb Vanth, and of course we also have the Mandalorian logo there for the series. We can see the numbers. This one is 486. It fit alongside, see this one here of Cobb Vanth is 484. Nice having the numbers there if you want to keep track of all of them. I do kind of wish that Funko put numbers on every single box. Often for the multi-packs and two packs they don't give them a unique number. Makes it just a little bit hard to keep track of just how many you own. I like being able to keep a spreadsheet. We've got a nice window there, color stripe, not much else there to look at. Pretty simple. Now it's time to get this out of the box. I want to see all of the details. Because the front plastic window leads over onto the top, I am going to open it from the bottom, so I am just dealing with a straight cardboard flap. This can be a little bit tricky, but sometimes if you just get a little bit of a wrinkle in the cardboard, it's going to be hidden underneath. And that one did actually open quite nicely. That was a relief. So let's pull out these trays. Okay, just pop that over to the side there. So now we've got the two clamshell pieces of plastic. That was secure, very loud. And now we can take them out of the packaging. Wow, oh, it's always fun getting your first proper look at these figures. Okay, so let's clear this packaging away so we can really get stuck in and check out all of these details. There is so much amazing detail to this scene that I couldn't really appreciate through the plastic. I'm so excited to finally get this one out. So I'm going to start by taking a closer look at the two figures here. Of course, we're going to have to start with the man himself, Boba Fett, now that he has defeated Bib Fortuna and taken over as Daimyo. So of course, he is sitting here on the throne with his blaster rifle resting here. I really like the pose. Of course, it is referencing that scene. And of course, we've got a really nice little bobble here as well. Let's take a closer look at his armor. Boba Fett actually wears quite a few different versions of armor and outfits, as we see him in both The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Here, he still has some of his lower sort of dark black Tuscan robes, but we have his armor here with his orange knee armor plates and of course his Mandalorian plates, where we can see his logo there on the chest, and tucked in under his helmet there we can even see the mythosaur symbol on his shoulder piece there. Really nice detail work. Really nice helmet. Of course, this isn't as scratched up as when he gets it back from Cobb Vanth. He's taken some time to repaint it, but we still have a little bit of weathering here around his visor. Very nice paint job. What I can see, of course, Boba Fett has a lot of details, so there's always the little risk that something will be just a little bit awry. The two tiny little spots I can see where the paint is perhaps not the most perfect. Little bit going over the edge on his left knee plate there. We've got just a little bit of yellow on the boot, and I can see one little yellow line just beyond his shoulder piece there. It just shows up against the black. It's almost a non-issue there. One of the things that I do notice about these ones is because they can kind of bobble a little bit in the packaging, sometimes we get a few scratches just over time. There is a very small sort of scratch here on the underside of the sort of cheek indent here of his helmet. Not a big deal, and I almost didn't see it there from the front. I'm just looking very closely. I like the printing detail here on his rangefinder at the side. Very nice. Overall, cool pose. Of course, he is right in the center, as he should be. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Really like the brilliant sort of metallic finishes we've got here. Of course, the silver on his helmet. We've also got silver accent details here on his gauntlet there. Really nice. Lots of fine detail on his iconic blaster there as well. Overall, really, really cool. So of course, let's take a closer look at Fennec. I love the way she's kind of sitting there on the arm of the throne. She's got a blue drink bottle here in her hand, her blaster sort of resting on her hip, pointed upwards. We've captured that pose really, really well. And of course, we've got a lot of detail on her costume as well. Predominantly black, but with a lot of orange stripe details here. We can see all of the striping on her boots, on the sort of skirt robe section there. We've got little painted details. And I really like the mix of gloss and matte black as well to kind of bring a little bit more detail to her costume, because it is, you know, largely black. And of course, we've even got her little scar there on her face. Very nice and clean, very happy with the paint job for the face. And if I tip them up, she's got her very intricate braided and woven hairstyle there as well. Absolutely fantastic. Taking a look at her from the back, we can see that detailed hair design going into the back there as well. Absolutely fantastic. Such a complicated hairstyle. It's really fun to see that replicated here in Funko form. The figure of Fennec is of course glued here onto the throne, and as I have often spotted on some of these larger items, there is a little bit of sort of a white dusty residue left over from where the glue was applied. Sometimes this can kind of wipe off if you're careful. Sometimes it's just kind of on there, but because it is behind her, I don't mind too much, and I don't really see it very much from the front. It's generally pretty tidy at that front attachment line there, and she looks pretty cool perched there. I think it's just such a fantastic pose. Really like the details. One little thing that I want to check is sometimes, as you can see, it sounds like they might be knocking sometimes, so I just want to have a quick check. We do have a little bit of a paint mark here on the back of Boba Fett's helmet where I feel like he's come into contact with her ear. So I'm not sure if that's a paint scraping from over time or whether that's happened when it was wet. Again, that's in the back. I'm not going to notice that too much. on the whole, generally pretty good. We've got a little bit of a scratch here on the underside of her chin / cheek there as well. I'm looking at very fine details. From the front, I think they look fantastic. Of course, they do such a good job of translating these scenes. So let's take a closer look at some of the other details here. Of course, we've got generally a pretty much all over sort of mid-green color for the throne chair. Got a lot of detail here, but one of the highlight pieces for me are the bronze colored Rancor heads on the arms of the throne here. It's got that sort of bronze patina where it's got that sort of aged antiqued green finish to it. Absolutely fantastic. I really like that. Gives it almost a metal effect here. And we've also got that same effect on Bib Fortuna's staff, which is lying here on the ground. Of course, this is just after he has been defeated. Fun little fact, this is in a reference to the vintage action figure accessory. The vintage action figure version of Bib Fortuna came with this staff accessory. So when they put him in that scene from The Mandalorian, they kind of put that weapon, that staff in there for him as a bit of a nod. I like that. Like the iconic Anban disintegrator rifle, of course, being a nod back to the holiday special of Boba Fett. I love the fact that they put in so many fun little nods in these live action series. So that's a fun little Easter egg moment there. And on this side, we've got some other sort of throne room decorations here. We've got a little 4-footed pot here holding what I can only assume is some sort of food. And then we've got a few sort of bowls, a little glass, and some pillows here. Everything looks well attached. It doesn't look misaligned. Pretty tidy, nice paint job, nice sculpting. Just kind of adds a little bit extra to kind of balance out where the figures are. And I really like the way that the sort of sculpting for the throne comes down around this front edge, the sort of the fabrics and everything like that hanging down the front. And then we have a 3D Star Wars logo here. It is raised and it just has a pretty tidy gold paint finish to it. Sometimes when they have the hand painted sort of accent colors, it can be a little bit messy. I like that this is just a solid color. They haven't tried to sort of paint in the lines of the Star Wars text. So overall, I think that that color matches very nicely. On the back, on the bottom underside, we've got some of the raised copyright text, and we also have three screws across the front and across the back there. Some deluxe ones have these completely hidden. This one you can see the screws. And of course in the back we have a little bit of a cutout for the throne seat. The rest of it's pretty plain. They can't really add detail that isn't there on the original set, but I do like the fact that it doesn't just cut off abruptly. That base goes all the way around at the back, and you can kind of see where the cobblestones for the Jabba's Palace kind of raised stage are there. Very nice. So we can see in behind Boba himself, we have that sculpted sort of back to the throne. Very nice. It doesn't seem to be accented with any paint, but I like that that detail is there and visible, and we can just kind of see the brown sort of pillow blanket sort of part of the throne that he is sitting on underneath him. I think this is so fantastic. I'm so happy to finally get this one out of the plastic so I can see everything, and of course I can see the bobbleheads bubbling properly now. Overall, really impressed with the detail. Everything looks really tidy. I know there is a lot of components that would have to be all assembled, all painted, and then everything all glued in place. So I do understand that there might be just little spots where the paint is not quite tidy, or perhaps we get a little bit of glue residue. There is just a little bit of a sort of a shiny glue spot here by his feet, and I kind of have to tip it around in the light to even see it. It's so minimal, just a tiny little clear shiny spot of glue that's run out from under his feet. Just small things like that that you're gonna forget as soon as you put this thing on display, because it just looks so cool. There were a number of different collectible companies that did their own take on Boba Fett sitting on his throne, but they tended to be very large and very expensive. As much as I wish I could have added some of those large scale collectibles, from, say, Gentle Giant or Hot Toys. They are so much more larger and so much more expensive, so I really appreciate Funko for giving us a version that is much more budget friendly. Still a little bit more expensive than a standard Funko or even two standard Funkos, but on the whole, very affordable, and it's just such an iconic scene. If you're a Boba Fett fan, this is a one and done. You don't even need to be a big Funko collector to just appreciate this, perhaps add it to your bookshelf, a little bit of a Star Wars collectible, all in one. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love this. I hope to add more scenes like this to my collection. They do take up a bit more space than the standard Funko boxes. They can stack, you can keep them in their boxes. This one, the box was very big. It certainly takes up less space when you get it out, which is a plus. And of course, if you don't really want to, you can just store the box away. You don't even need to put the box on display either. So overall, it's just fantastic. I think this is so fun. I'm really happy that I finally have a Boba Fett on Throne item for my collection. I absolutely loved the Book of Boba Fett, and I hope we get more from that show in the collectible realm. There's still a lot of figures and characters that I want to collect to buff out my collection. So there you go. I had a lot of fun. There was so much detail to go over here. Really, really happy. Sometimes with those clear plastic windows, you can't quite see and check the paint job on everything. And if you're buying it online, it's just a bit of a gamble there anyway. Very happy that this has arrived all nice and tidy. I mean, even all of those striping details on the side of Boba Fett's helmet there, all of that lacing on Fennec's woven hairstyle there, just fantastic. I really love this. This was exciting. Always fun when you open something up that you've been anticipating for a while and it's better than you can imagine. I love the finish on all of these details. Just absolutely great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I opened up another Star Wars Boba Fett collectible and had a lot of fun. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are in the galaxy, and let's hang out again very soon for more Star Wars fun. May the Force be with you. If you're a Funko fan, I recently unboxed the Deluxe Bo-Katan on the Throne figure. That video is linked here in case you haven't already seen it, as well as our whole Funko unboxing playlist. This is the way.